Where are we? Is this season really going to charge on?
It's tough to say at this point, Molly. Major League Baseball seems resolute in the idea that it is going to push forward through these tests and continue on. But clearly, by postponing tonight's game in Milwaukee, which was supposed to be the Brewers' home opener against the St. Louis Cardinals, they are showing, at least for the time being, a different tack on what exactly it takes to get them to postpone a game. And yet we look at this, Molly, and look at the fallout that comes from, you know, a single, or in this case, 2 positive coronavirus tests. You lose the game with Milwaukee against the St. Louis Cardinals. There are questions about the Minnesota Twins, who last played the Cardinals, and they're in Cleveland right now. And oh, by the way, they played last night, so who knows what happens there. You have 6 other teams on the East Coast whose schedules have been affected by this. That's 2 teams with positive coronavirus tests, 10 teams that are affected. And the spider web effect here that seems to be just running through baseball is the big problem. It's not that it's just 2 teams, it's that all of the teams are interconnected.
Well, Jeff, thank you for being on the show. It's not difficult for me to say, Max Kellerman, Jeff Passan, season's over. Now, inevitably, that's what I view. I'm sorry to be so pessimistic. Season's over. This season is not going to be completed. I'm going to predict that MLB season will be canceled sooner than later. Here is why. There's no bubble. There's no bubble. And I blame the players for this because the players are always the last to the party. It doesn't matter. I don't care. Look at any kind of labor strife that has ever existed. Look at anything that's involved the players versus the owners. Think about the steroids era, for crying out loud. So many things could have been alleviated throughout the years if baseball had grabbed the bull by the horn and marched forward. Nope. They want to hold on to tradition. They want to hold on to their standards, policing themselves, doing things their way, ignoring the rest of society, and there you have it. We have a global pandemic going on. These guys don't have to be constricted to a bubble. They're traveling. We don't know what they're doing when they're not playing, but then they come around each other and play. And because 2 guys test positive, you're postponing games? I mean, unless you're going to have a whole bunch of doubleheaders going on every single day, for crying out loud, it's just not going to wash. And last but not least, remember, guys, the players wanted, correct me if I'm wrong, Jeff, you would know this a hell of a lot better than me, the players wanted at least 82 games, if not 100 games. All right? The owners were stuck on 60. They tried to capitulate to about 75, 76 games. The owners were stuck on 60. What was the reason, the rationale? They were saying we want the season to finish at a certain time because, and as a result, this is the way that they're going. Well, if you've got these postponements, how is the season ever going to be finished at the time that Rob Manfred and others said they wanted the season finished? I don't see how this is going to work. You should have been in a bubble because you're not. The bottom line is I anticipate Major League Baseball, this season will be canceled sooner than later.
We see some of this the same way and some of it differently, Stephen A. On the one hand, most of the issues between labor and ownership in the history of baseball have been ownership's fault, period. However, occasionally it is the players' union's fault. And in this case, well, I thought you made it sound like it's you. Whenever there's been strife, it's been the issue of the labor has been the issue.
No, I didn't mean
in fact, in this case, I agree with you. I think that the players' union resisted, from everything I understand, a bubble. The idea that they thought they were going to have an even longer season than the 60 games with no bubble. Every member of the players' union who thought that it was fake news, the coronavirus, or that they could manage this, that was an idiotic decision. This is very real. I wonder, Jeff, if it's possible, and Stephen A., I also agree, without a bubble, even with a bubble, many sports may not be able to have a season or complete a season. Without a bubble, 0% chance. That goes for the NFL. That certainly goes for college football. It goes for baseball, too. But, Jeff, I wonder, is there any compromise in the offing in the sense that, because already, Manfred, well, we have to change our protocols. Really, already? I thought you said this is not a nightmare scenario. I thought you said you had all these things planned. All of a sudden, you're changing your protocols already? would they go at a certain point to winning percentage instead of, and so everyone wouldn't have the same number of games won and lost, so you don't have to make up all these games? Already they're going to 7 innings for double headers. And is it possible, do you think, to sell the players' union on, hey guys, as soon as this season is over, we go to bubble for playoff format, and the season may not be 60 games? Are any of those changes feasible, do you think?
Max, the fact that they've gone to 7-inning doubleheaders, I think illustrates that anything is possible at this point. The fact that the Yankees and the Orioles are playing right now shows that anything is possible. A schedule is not a schedule. Rules are not rules. Baseball in 2020 is chaos right now, and all they're trying to do as best they can is get to October. Now, is that feasible? Is that realistic at this point? It doesn't feel that way, because here we are, a little more than a week into the season. You've got a catastrophic outbreak, and I don't think you can term it any other way. 18 now of the 33 Miami Marlins players who are traveling with the team have tested positive for COVID-19. You've got another team in the St. Louis Cardinals that has 2 positive tests, but remember, we're early on in the incubation period. It's possible that there is going to be an outbreak on that team too. They traveled from Minneapolis to Milwaukee. We don't know what the safety is on planes at this point. I mean, there are so many questions about the season. And when you contrast that with what the NBA's got going on right now, do you guys feel like there are many questions about the NBA right now? It just feels, and maybe it's a false sense of security, but it feels like the bubble is actually pretty safe compared to, well, certainly compared to what Major League Baseball has, but pretty safe compared to just society writ large, that they're testing, that they've got contact tracing in place if something happens, that they've got protocols that are working.
Thanks for watching ESPN on YouTube. For live streaming, sports, and premium content, subscribe to ESPN+.